Big Moochie Grape knows the dudes that hit a lick on him, and it's no surprise that if moments right after they went to Bankroll Freddy's place because they knew the stash spot, and Big Moochie Grape tried to slide and get the justice and everything like that. But it ended up going wrong because that's how he lost his other chain. OG Bang Wayne, JoJo Splat, Straight Drop, everybody was involved. They really was trying to get out here and get the PRE chains because at that point, them chains was worth $50,000 or more, close to $100,000, especially the one that CEO Daddy-O had. That was over a $200,000 pendant alone. And the Cuban link on there, when they tested it, they knew that it was the one that belonged to Young Dolph. And so that's why everybody was trying to get the pieces, because they knew eventually that the Young Dolph jewelry collection was going to be worth the most out of all the rappers out there in Memphis. And Govan knew that Blac Youngsta's sister was trying to get the drop on the location of Bankroll Freddy and Big Moochie Great, because she knew that Young Dolph was giving them the chains to go get them cleaned and everything like that. Out of all the people in PRE, Key Glock and Bankroll Freddy was the ones that went to Jewelry Unlimited the most, that went to Icebox the most. And they was the ones that Dolph had to entrust to give them the jewelry box so that they could go take it there on the weekends and get them cleaned. And then after they clean them, refurbish them and everything like that, they supposed to link back with Dolph on the set of the video or at his mansion or estate or anything like that, one of his businesses, and they supposed to give the chains back so he can put them back into the display case, because the reason why they got them all cleaned is because Dolph was about to do a show. And so every time Dolph do a show, right before, 2 days before, he gives Bankroll Freddy the whole loot bag full of the diamonds and jewelry, everything from Johnny Dang, everything from Icebox, all the pendants, the infamous blue dolphin chain that's worth $800,000. So he gives them all that, and the only thing Blac Youngsta's sister had to do was figure out and get eyes and spot Bankroll Freddy, try to catch him in traffic, try to catch him slide and see what kind of car he in. Then next thing you know, after the show, they go to the backstage VIP parking area. They see Bankroll Freddy's same car. As soon as they seen his Bentley truck and everything and the Escalades leaving, that's when they started following. And so once they knew exactly what kind of car Bankroll Freddy was driving in, because they know that Young Dolph was giving him one of the camo cars to whip it in. And so it was easy for them to know if he's parked right next to Dolph's camo car, then that's got to be Bankroll Freddy's car. And so what they did was they basically followed him until they found out, until another show was going on. And then that's when they ran up on him and tried to get the jewelry and everything like that. They was in the hotel and they went up and to the front desk and told them that they big fans. They wanted to go get the autograph. They said they was part of the whole crew and the production team and everything. So they let them up. That's when they come knocking on the door and everything like that. But Bankroll Freddy already knew what's up. He booked 2 rooms with the connecting room. So he went out to the other side of the room because the dudes were at the one door. So he goes to the other door, peeks out and sees that it's dudes that was trying to rob and hit a lick. They was masked up, gloved up and everything and had the glizzy out. And so that's when he takes off running. He opens that door and goes to the right. His cousin opened the other door and he tries to run out the other way, but they got his cousin and they stomp him until he gives up all the jewelry and the loot. And so for that, since that moment on, Bankroll Freddy and them was trying to get that back for the longest time. That's why when they went to slide on him and they went to slide for Young Dolph and they found out who's Govan's people, exactly who they were, then they knew that they was connected to Straight Drop, and this was all basically in connection with the Young Dolph and Yo Gotti beef. This was the same people from CMG that was trying to follow and get Bankroll Freddy. He spotted Blac Youngsta's sister finally, and so he knew that they was trying to get him. So he kept a low profile and tried to let his people and his hitters slide for him and slide for Dolph. But that's what ended up getting him caught up, because the dude on the other side, who was the double agent from APD, he ended up telling about Bankroll Freddy's whole entire operation and how they tried to slide on him and how they got the info about where his condo was at. And so Once the dude gave up that information, they took him in as witness protection because he offered a statement to tell on every single person over there, including the people that he was working with, to try to hit a lick on Bankroll Freddie. So he cooperated basically to the fullest extent and made sure that he was going to pin everything else on the other guys, the pawn pieces. At the end of the day, whenever somebody's planning and plotting to do something, they always get the people to do the dirty work for them. So that way, if they get caught up, they just go and pin and tell on them. And that way they don't have to do a lot of the time and everything like that. They don't have to sit down for the seasons. And the other people are basically like, they already got a crashed out record and it's not going to be looking good for them anyways. And they not the type of people who they don't got anybody to tell on, unless they say that they got the bread from the dude. But the thing is that the bread from this whole liquor is supposed to come from the completed jewelry heist. And once everybody got out that building, everybody that took everything, they all just kept it on their own and they just split it up from there. So it ended up being where everybody just got $5,000 and now they all looking at getting 30 to 40 years for this. So it's really not worth going down this lifestyle. And I would recommend for anybody not to do anything like this and to just continue to stay on the right path of just hustling and trying to do it the right way. So that way you can actually make it out and get to enjoy your life and not have to worry about doing 30, 40 years, or even in the case of Bankroll Freddie, having to be in the spotlight like that and doing what he was doing and being targeted is never going to be, you're never going to catch a break. There's no days off. Even on a day where you think that you made bread and that you get to sit up and kick your feet up, that's the day that somebody comes and kicks your door down and try to hit a lick on you. And that's exactly what was going on when Bankroll Freddie and his cousin answered the door of that hotel room. They knew what was coming for them and they knew that they had what the people wanted. And what the people wanted was the fact that they had all the young Dolph jewelry pieces, not just because of their own personal beef, but because they know that Big Jook and Govan is going to pay a lot of money coming from Yo Gotti to get all that situation handled, because the beef was still going on between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. Like, Yo Gotti was still salty about his baby mama, even years down the road. Even if he went with Angela Simmons now, Yo Gotti was still mad about the whole time, and he with a whole nother girl now. And so that's how you know that a lot of stuff is petty and is jealousy and is greed and envy going on. And that's what makes the whole situation all confusing, and people start making the wrong decisions and be acting out on emotion and not thinking straight. And that's how they get caught up in Ricos. That's how you get caught up with having your right-hand man tell on you. The person that you gave all the bread to do the hit and put the money on their head, they the ones that end up telling all, and they know everything about you. And so that's why when the feds hit hard, they hit hard, because they get the people who was in on it to come out and confess and tell to everything, because the number of the years they throwing football numbers in the feds and everything like that. It's not the same as what Triple X dude got, the one who's going to be in 5 years in Florida and all that, and X Tentacion's dude. And so it's not going to be like that guy. That got told and he gets to get out in 2 years. And so if you don't, basically, if you try to hush up and not say nothing, they're going to end up giving you the 30, 40 years because they're going to pin it on you anyways. That's how they get a lot of the people to tell, is that they throw the big numbers up there and look at how much they facing, and they realize that all that loyalty gets thrown out the window. When whatever pledge they made to CMG, whatever they agreed to, all of that is forgotten, because they know that they don't want to, for the rest of their moment, they don't ever get to see the daylight again, and they don't want to have to deal with that. They want to go home and kick it with their girl and be able to wear the chains that they took and flex and post on Instagram and beef with their ops. That's what they want to do. They don't want to have to sit down and be bored and face the time for the responsibilities on what they acted on. And so basically, at the end of the day, people just got to open their eyes and look at the fact and realize what's really going on out there. And basically that you need to subscribe to the channel and continue to watch and keep track of the next video. I'm going to see you there. And the feds pinpointed one of the chains that was taken from Bankroll Freddie. The robbers didn't know that they had the tracking device inside the chain. One thing you got to understand is that a lot of the rappers, they want to make sure that if they already know that the chain's going to get took, so they put the chip inside of it. People was already doing this in the 90s and the 2000s. Like, that's how they found the one dude who had the chip in his Rolex. And when he got snatched up by the crew, they found him in the trunk because they knew exactly where the watch was and that he had it on him. And so at the end of the day, when they try to go and smelt down the gold and the diamonds from Young Dolph's jewelry collection and they take it to Johnny Dang, Johnny Dang is gonna he's gonna he's gonna find the little microchip and be like, yo, this is not your chain and everything like that. And that's when he's gonna have to make the report, and the feds could pull up on him instantly at that time, because in Houston, the feds live in Houston. And so if somebody comes to Johnny Dang with Young Dolph stolen jewelry and everything like that, then basically they're gonna get locked up right away, because Johnny Dang has protocols for his business, to where he has to see, if he sees something, he has to say something. And so at the end of the day, it's not worth any of that. It's better to just grind on your own and go get that. A lot of people, they was just trying to diss Dolph and disrespect Dolph. Like, if they had a bounty, clearly they put a bounty out, $50,000 if you could get Dolph's chain, whatever the amount was. You know that Big Jook was handling $40,000 to give to somebody to do something to Young Dolph. Grove Hero said it himself, and Grove Hero knows, because he actually grew up with Yo Gotti. He grew up with Blac Youngsta. He grew up with Big Jook. He was the person that Big Jook was trying to manage him when he kickstarted his comedy career. But Yo Gotti and them all got mad when Dolph put him on, and Grove Hero actually had a super successful show and made $100,000 that night, all because Dolph was promoting him and putting him on to the certain venues and everything like that. And when Grove Hero was with Yo Gotti and them, he was making $0. Yo Gotti and them was taking it all. They was finessing and booking him, and he never even got to perform or nothing like that. And so at the end of the day, he knew that they was holding him back. And so Grove Hero spilt the beans on the whole situation, and he knew that deep down in his heart that he was the one that was riding for Young Dolph. So he just couldn't take it anymore once he knows that they was trying to sweep it under the rug about the hit being placed in, and that they know that it's Govan and Big Jook connected. So how is it that they let Govan out, but the dudes who's claiming that they didn't do nothing and stuff like that, and that was the pawn pieces and the chess pieces, they don't get out. And so it's like they supposed to get the head of the snake, unless Govan is giving up Yo Gotti or giving up Blac Youngsta. That's the only way that they would have released him. And so now everybody's biting their nails. They're on the edge of their seat waiting to see what's going to happen. Are the feds going to pick up Blac Youngsta, or is it going to be a revolving door situation? Does everybody just have to open their eyes and keep looking at the facts, or are they going to realize?